Okay, hey, welcome again, back to CIT12 Computer Literacy. In this video and I'm going to walk you through the basics of the course outline and schedule. So when you log in, go into your CIT12 course, okay? And then remember, we're going to put most of the time you're going to spend is going to be in the course materials area. So if you click on course materials, you have the welcome letter at the top here. You're going to have the very second thing down, which is going to be your course outline and schedule. There it is. We're going to click on that, and I'm going to kind of walk through the basics of it, okay? Again, this may take a little bit longer here, so just kind of bear with me. So at the very top is basic contact information. You're going to live around emails to me. So here's my email address to be able to get a hold of me. Then below, you're going to see a breakdown from week to week for the entire semester. So in week one, it's a pretty simple week. Your big goal here is you need to go out, get my IT Lab. You need to pay for it and get it all set up and stuff by no later than, well, you really need to get it registered by Wednesday, and you need to make sure it's paid for by Saturday. And if it's not paid by Saturday, January 14th, you're going to be dropped from the class, okay? So I'm sorry for your finances if you run into some kind of problems, but this is a deal breaker. Everything that you're going to do for this class centers inside my IT Lab, so you have to have it for this one, okay? So make sure that this is one of your priorities, that you actually pay for my IT Lab and get it going here ASAP, okay? In week two, it looks like week two is a fairly simple week. Week two, you'll review some weekly announcements. You're going to go ahead and then you'll have two activities, if you notice. One is a Microsoft My IT Lab Windows 10 training. Now, Windows 10 training, as you go through it, and you'll see since you've gone and watched the welcome videos, okay, in the Microsoft Windows trainings, they'll step you through step by step on how to do it. They give you some learning aids, and you can watch it, you can practice it, and you can interact with it. Once you have a certain comfort zone for the training, then you should go ahead and take the Windows 10 assessment, okay? Now, the Windows 10 assessment, these are really your homework, and the assessment are ones that I will actually record your grades. When you go through the trainings, you can do them as many times as you want. I'm not going to record anything. But the Windows 10 assessment, this one would be due, like, for instance, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time by Saturday, January 21st, okay? So then, hey, look at week three. Week three, we don't have any homework this way, but you have a chapter 1 to read. Now, I put together a narrated PowerPoint, as well as you should read the chapter in your e-textbook, okay? And then you take a chapter 1 quiz by that Saturday, January 28th, by, again, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's a pretty simple thing. You read the chapter, you know, watch the little narrated PowerPoint, get kind of an idea what the chapter is about, read the chapter, and then go ahead and take the quiz, okay? And so you start to see an idea of how this is going to break down from week to week for the entire semester. Now, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, get all the way past here, the final way down here, and notice that, hey, there's some more information. So the first thing here is, hey, if you're going to try to email me, if you email me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll try to get back to you, if it's not by that day, but by the next day, okay? However, I'm not available every day of the week 24/7. I just want to make sure everybody understands that 100%, okay? So if you email me on a Friday or a Saturday or Sunday and stuff, I'm probably not going to get back to you on Monday. And so that's really important that you know about that right up the front, okay? And so, you know, Monday through Thursday, I can get back to you, you know, within 24 hours. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not going to be able to get back to you until the following Monday. So please take that into consideration. Hey, what's required from the class? You need either a PC or a Mac. If you're going to run a Mac, okay, so hold on, wait a second. PC or a Mac, tablets, smartphones, Chromebooks, not going to work for this class. Okay, we good? Tablets, smartphones, and Chromebooks are not going to work for this class. If you're using a Mac, you're going to have Windows, and you're going to have to Microsoft Office, but you have to install it using something called Boot Camp or VMware in order to complete those hands-on practicals, okay? So if you can't do that with your Mac, then nope, then this is not going to be the class for you. You should not take CIT12 online at all. You should just wait and do it in the classroom, whatever, okay? Or get onto a computer that you have that's a PC, not a Macintosh. If it's a PC, you're going to be good to go with Windows. Fantastic. You also need Microsoft Office. The 2013 would still work right now, okay? So you could have the 2013 or the 2016, and later on down here, I'll show you exactly how you can get the copy of Microsoft Office for free as a student here at Fresno City College. You need reliable high-speed internet access. That's really important. Dial-up is not going to work for this class, okay? So you need cable, DSL, pretty decent, you know, internet connections. Of course, then there's the My IT Lab training software. And this My IT Lab training software is basically the entire package for the class. It includes the simulations to learn Microsoft Office. It also includes the e-textbook. It's where we're going to take your tests, your quiz, quizzes. Basically, this is the class inside of a nutshell, okay? There's two ways to get it. You can either purchase it directly online and go to this click on here, and then it'll ask you for the course ID for this particular CIT12 class. You enter in this Fresno City College 83165, whatever, and then you start the process, and it'll ask you for your credit card and make sure it's all paid for, and you're good to go. The other possibility is for those of you who have a book grant that's only good at the bookstore, you can purchase it through the bookstore, so that's another possibility, okay? Hey, tech support. Here's the My IT Lab tech support and the Fresno City College tech support. Notice that right in there, I'm not your tech support, so I'm sorry guys and stuff. I can't solve problems and stuff on My IT Lab when there's a software thing, whatever, or if you're having it here on campus and you're using your laptop and you're doing wireless and there's some problem. If there's a tech support at Fresno City College because you're having a problem on campus with the wireless or your email or something like that, FCC can help you out with that. They don't do your hardware repairs, things like that. My IT Lab, if you're having problems with an assessment or you're having a problem with the training or your connection or you can't get logged in, that's who you turn to. They're 24/7, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not your tech support, okay? All right, so let's go down a little bit further. Here's where you can go ahead and get your Microsoft Office 365 for Windows for free, as well as you'll need a school email account. Many of you probably already have. So if you haven't got a school email account, click on here and set one up. And if you want to go ahead and get the sign up for the free Office 365, you can go to this one and you're good to go. Hey, attendance for this class. I know it's an online class. Like, how do you attend? By doing something pretty much each week. And I give you a little exception for the first week because your first activity is go get My IT Lab and get it paid for. But starting in week 2, you have something due every single week, okay? So if you don't do anything for a week, that's an absence, okay? And if you do that twice, I'm going to drop you. Because you know what, guys? We can't just let this pile up because an online class, you got to manage your time and make sure you can get it done. So keep that in mind, okay? That, you could take a week off and not get something done and you just lose the points. But if you do that twice, you're going to get dropped from the class, okay? If you don't get the My IT Lab paid and registered all, by the first week here in January, you're going to get dropped from the class, okay? And so I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that right at the get-go. Okay, you can drop the class yourself all the way up until the drop deadline, which is about 9 weeks into the semester, so somewhere around March or whatever. You can look that up and stuff from the school. Hey, grading policy. There are 9 quizzes because there's basically 9 chapters, okay? And then there are going to be assessments in Windows, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And then there's going to be 3 hands-on practical exams and then a final of the textbook only. 1,025 points for the entire course. And I use a standard grading scale of 90, 80, 70, 60, so on. Okay. Hey, in the quizzes, okay, the My IT Lab, the assessments. Hey, under the My IT Lab, as I mentioned in an earlier video, that the trainings include learning aids. They allow you to read, to watch, to practice. They basically walk you through how to do it, pretty much almost everything, okay? In order to be successful in the assessments, you really need to make sure that you've got a good handle of the trainings. And once you have a kind of handle of the trainings, you can take the trainings as many times as you want, and you can take notes and whatever and stuff. Then when you're ready, you take the My IT Lab assessment for that activity, okay? And in that assessment, okay, you can only do it 3 times, but I will keep your highest score, okay? So, a lot of times people will take their assessment the first time, get some things wrong, go back and retake it after they've looked at the training a second time, looked at their notes and stuff, okay? Hey, there are points associated with the assessments. There's a Windows that's 100%, 100 points, and then each of the Word, Excel, and PowerPoints actually have like 3 chapters, and so I'm going to take an average of your scores, okay? So, if you get 100%, 100 in Chapter 1 and 100 in Chapter 2, and you don't do Chapter 3, that's 2/3. That's not so good, okay? So keep in mind it'll be 100 points for Windows, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, okay? That kind of gives you an idea of the homework there, okay? Quizzes. Quizzes are comprised of multiple choice and true false, typically from the textbook. Usually 25 questions are what you're going to be done, okay? The hands-on practical exams, again, those will be 100 points a pop, okay? They typically are a series of tasks where you start off where you download a file, like a starting file in Word, and then you have an instruction sheet that says, go do the following this, and then you save the file, upload it. It does a grading process, and then you get a chance to kind of see what you grade on. You do have the opportunity to take it a total of 3 times, and I'll keep your highest score, okay? But, gives you an idea and stuff of how that practical works and stuff outside of class. Hey, keep in mind that the quizzes, the exams, and the final, they're all open books, open notes. Hey, you could be doing this any place in the world, so Take advantage. Just remember, you only have so much time to complete it. So once you start a quiz, or once you start a test, or once you start the final, the clock is going to tick, okay? So you have only a finite amount of time to take that exam or whatever it may be, okay? The final is comprehensive of the entire 9 chapters of the book, okay? And you need to have the final completed by Monday, May 15th, okay? And that's really important because that's the one deadline that's not Saturday, okay? And so the final is due Monday, the beginning of finals week, that Monday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, okay? So make sure you set that in your schedule because that's a different date than Saturday, okay? So you do not have all of finals week to complete that final. But again, it's a textbook final on just simply multiple choice, true, false, whatever, of the 9 chapters, okay? Remember, there are no makeups or assignments for this class. If you don't get something done by the deadline, you get a 0, okay? I'm going to be really clear on that one. You got to beat the deadline or you get a 0, okay? We good? Okay. Hey, assignments and stuff, right? Okay. So I put all of the assignments, if the due dates, I highlighted in yellow. So let me do a quick scroll right back up real quick. There we go. Notice this, see the yellows? And almost always, with the exception of the final, the deadline's going to be Saturday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay? All right. Let's come down here. Assessments, got it. I talked about the trainings. You can talk about the assessments. If you're planning on cheating in the class, you probably ought to read through this part on academic dishonesty. Plus, I put some general policies. If you need some assistance on the American Disabilities Act, just contact our DSPNS office here on campus, and they should be able to help you out. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what this class is going to be involved with the schedule as we go through the 18 weeks. So good luck, and have a great day.